Welcome to Lulu's Storytime, where imagination comes to life. Get ready to dive into a world full of heartwarming tales that will capture your imagination as you drift off to sleep.
On Halloween night, Bo Harper could barely contain his excitement as he hurried to put on his Batman costume. He tied the cape around his neck and pulled the mask over his eyes. "I'm Batman," he shouted, clipping the yellow plastic belt around his waist. He grabbed his giant trick-or-treat bag and rushed out of the front door of Nana and Pa's house into the cool autumn air. On the sidewalk, beside Nana's big bright glowing pumpkins, stood Bo's best friends, Blaze and Cash. Blaze was dressed in an awesome green dinosaur costume, and Cash wore a furry purple monster costume with silly googly eyes and warts all over it. "Ready to get some candy?" Cash said, in a spooky monster voice as he rubbed his fuzzy gloves together. "Yeah, let's go," said Bo. "I'm ready to catch some candy bandits." "And I'm gonna sniff out my favorite snacks," Blaze said, as he dipped his dinosaur head, waving it from side to side. The three boys headed out down Gentry Drive as creepy music played from a nearby house. The street was lined with flickering candles, and thick fake cobwebs hung from the streetlights. At the first house, they knocked on the door and yelled, "Trick or treat!" A friendly lady opened the door and dropped full-size chocolate bars and lollipops into their bags. "Wow, thanks!" the boys called out before darting off to the next house. They went door to door, gathering all kinds of delicious treats and candy from their neighbors. With each stop, their bags were getting heavier and heavier. "My bag's almost full," said Blaze, peering in at the pile of candy. "Mine too," said Bo. "This is the best Halloween ever." "You're right about that," said Cash. "I've never gotten this much candy before." As they turned from Gentry Drive, they came upon an old house with peeling white paint and a loud, creaky door. The porch light flickered, and suddenly the door flew open with a loud pop. The two big hairy dogs with long floppy ears came bounding out. "Woof, woof, woof," the dogs barked. Then they ran over and jumped up on Bo, knocking him to the ground and sending his bag of candy flying through the air. "No, get down!" cried Bo, as the dogs took one more big jump before racing off into the night. Bo knelt down to scoop up his bag of candy, but the bag wasn't there. "Where's my bag?" he said with a frown. "And where's my candy?" Cash and Blaze got on their hands and knees, trying to peer through the eyes of their costumes. "I can't see the bag or any candy," Cash said. "Me either," Blaze said. The boys took off their masks to get a better look. But even after searching the yard, peering under bushes, and looking behind the trees, Bo's missing bag of candy was nowhere to be found. Just as Bo's shoulders started to slump, Cash called out, "Hey, look over here!" He pointed to a trail of shiny candy wrappers leading into the dark forest behind the house. "Maybe the dogs took off with your candy," said Blaze. "Let's follow the trail." Clutching their candy bags tightly, Cash and Blaze ventured into the looming forest, with Bo following closely behind. They pushed aside low branches and stepped over twisted roots as they followed the sparkling wrappers deeper into the thick cluster of trees. Finally, the path opened up into a moonlit clearing that was filled with tons of glowing pumpkins, a huge yellow cornfield maze, and lots of friendly goblins floating around in the air. The boys gazed around in total awe and amazement. "Wow! This is awesome!" said Blaze. "Tell me about it," said Cash. "If you guys weren't here with me, I swear I was dreaming." "This is way better than watching Bubble Guppies," Bo exclaimed. Just then, the boys heard a noise high up into the trees. Perched way up in a tall oak tree was a huge owl with big round yellow eyes. "Hello there," called the owl in a friendly voice. "My name is Oliver. What brings you to the pumpkin patch forest tonight?" "My trick-or-treat bag and all of the candy that was inside," Bo began. "It disappeared." Bo explained the situation to Mr. Oliver the owl. He told him all about how they were trick-or-treating when his candy bag spilled to the ground, and now the bag, along with all of his candy, was missing. "Can you please help us find Bo's lost candy?" Blaze asked. "Hoo! Of course we'll help," hooted Mr. Oliver the owl. "This is my friend Whiskers the cat." Oliver spread his big feathery wings and flapped down from his perch. Underneath the oak tree, the boys spotted a prowling black cat with curious green eyes. "Come on, let's start searching," said Whiskers, his green eyes glinting in the moonlight. Oliver and Whiskers led the kids all around the pumpkin patch, searching behind the pumpkins, under bushes, through the yellow cornfield maze, and even looking to see if any of the friendly goblins might be floating around in the air holding the bag of candy. Mr. Oliver the owl and Whiskers the cat would call out every few minutes, asking the boys if there was any sign of the candy. But each time the boys reported back, "No, not yet," they would answer. After searching what felt like the entire pumpkin patch and cornfield maze, Bo's shoulders slumped. "We're never going to find it," he said. Noticing Bo's sadness, Blaze and Cash walked over to him. "Don't lose hope," said Blaze. "We'll find it." Cash added, "Yeah, we just need a new plan. Let's split up to cover more ground." "That's probably a good idea," Bo agreed. "Maybe then we'll have some luck." The friends divided up into teams. Bo and Whiskers set off towards the tall cornfield maze on the edge of the pumpkin patch, while the others kept searching the forest that surrounded it. Walking through row after row of rustling cornstalks, Bo kept his eyes glued to the ground, looking for any signs of shiny candy wrappers peeking out. All of a sudden, Whiskers' ears suddenly perked up. He darted over to a pile of crunchy leaves and started batting at them with his paws. Underneath, he could see a few colorful candy wrappers. "You found a clue," Bo said, as Whiskers uncovered more wrappers buried deep in the leaves. "Lead the way, Whiskers." "Sure thing, let's go," Whiskers said, staying hot on the trail. Whiskers tracked the wrappers through the cornfield maze. After making a few twists and turns, they stumbled right out of the maze into another clearing. And there, beneath an old twisted oak tree, was Bo's missing trick-or-treat bag. "You did it, Whiskers," Bo said, as he scooped up Whiskers in his arms, giving him a big, warm hug. Whiskers meowed proudly and said, "Meow. Ah, don't mention it. My pleasure." Just then, Blaze, Cash, and Mr. Oliver the owl emerged from the glowing pumpkin patch. "Way to go! You found the candy," Cash said, and they all cheered together. Bo reached inside his giant bag of candy and pulled out 3 full-size candy bars that he had scored at Miss Miller's house when they were trick-or-treating on Gentry Drive, and gave one to Cash and Blaze. As they munched on their candy bars, the boys talked about what an amazing adventure Halloween night had become. "This was the best Halloween ever," Bo said. The 3 friends thanked Mr. Oliver the owl and Whiskers the cat for all of their help. "You two were the best," Cash said. "Yeah, we couldn't have done it without you," Blaze said. As the kids made their way out of the forest, Cash had an idea. He bent down and gently picked up Whiskers the cat. "If you don't have a home of your own, you can come home with me." Whiskers nuzzled against Cash's chest, purring loudly in agreement, and said, "That would be a dream come true for me." Waving goodbye to Mr. Oliver the owl, Bo, Blaze, and Cash, along with Mr. Whiskers the cat, carried their candy treasures out of the forest, heading down Gentry Drive. Back at Nana and Pa's house, Bo collapsed into bed, still wearing his Batman costume. He fell fast asleep in an instant, with his giant bag of candy by his side. It had been the best Halloween night ever. The end. Hi, I'm Suzie B., the author and narrator of The Curious Case of Bo's Missing Candy. I offer this personalized story in my Etsy store, where your special child could be the main character and star of the story, just like Bo. Visit my Etsy store today to purchase this personalized story for that special child or children in your life. The link to my Etsy store is in the description below. Give your special kiddos a fun-filled and exciting gift where they're the main characters in an engaging story written and narrated just for them.
Come back to Lulu's for more story time.